Mass to God and Santa Muerte, April 13th, 2025. This week we will be talking about willpower, manifestation, and the power of truth over illusion. In the name of the Most High, the eternal Creator, the source of all light, wisdom, and life, we open this sacred gathering with reverence and love. We call upon God, known by many names, worshipped through many traditions, and we honor La Santísima Muerte, our holy death. She who walks with us in shadows and light, in endings and beginnings. We invite our ancestors, spirits of truth, guides of our lineage, and protectors of our sacred path. Come stand beside us. Come speak through us. Come open the ways before us. We begin this week's Mass in full recognition that we are not alone in our struggles. The air is heavy for many. There are worries about money, about health, about relationships, about purpose. But before we allow these worries to define us, we must pause and ask, what of these fears are real? And what are illusions born from wounds, insecurities, or cycles we refuse to break? This is the week of clarity. The divine is pushing us to confront the difference between fact and fiction, not in the world around us, but in our own minds. Many of us live inside of prisons made not of bars, but of beliefs. We say no one helps us, while turning away those who offer. We say we are always suffering, but hold tightly to habits that birth suffering. We repeat the same words, I can't, I'm tired, it's too late. But God whispers, try. And La Santa Muerte places her skeletal hand on our shoulder and reminds us, you are not yet done. Willpower is not just about grit or effort. It is a divine spark gifted to every living soul. It is the breath of creation that says, choose again, I rise again, I manifest again. From the Vedas of the Quran, from the Torah to the Gospel, from the dances of the Mexica to the rituals of the Purépecha, all teachings point to this same truth. We are co-creators. We shape the reality around us by shaping the reality within us. Holy Death, we ask you to strip us of false stories. Cut away the narratives we used to feel like victims. Sever the lies we tell ourselves so we don't have to grow. Purify us with our silence, with your stillness, with your mirror. Divine God, creator of all, you made us in your image, not of fear, not of confusion, but of faith, creativity, and love. You gave us the power to imagine and bring into form. You gave us free will so that we may become not just servants, but participants in your holy plan. Remind us that manifestation is not about wishing, but about aligning with truth, with courage, with patience. We begin this sacred Mass by declaring, this week I will not run from what I have created. I will face it with truth. This week I will no longer wear pain like a badge of honor. I will wear healing like armor. This week I remember that I am not broken, I am becoming. This week I choose to stop feeding illusions and begin feeding my purpose. Great Spirit, La Santa Muerte, God of Abraham, Allah, Brahman, Ometetiol, Sacred Earth, Mother, we call on you through all your names and forms. Let this be a week of sacred clarity. May we stop lying to ourselves, stop running from the work, and begin walking toward what is real. Let us move deeper into this sacred journey together. Let us move into this first teaching, recognizing self-deception and reclaiming willpower as sacred action. We now continue in the fullness of spirit with our hearts wide open and our minds ready to receive deep truths. The divine never abandoned us, but how often do we abandon ourselves? How often do we speak the words, I believe, while living as if nothing and no one is listening? Let us be honest with ourselves. There are problems that are real. Poverty, illness, betrayal, trauma, And then there are problems that are born of our unwillingness to grow, change, or tell ourselves the truth. These are not the trials sent by God. These are the chains we've made for ourselves. This week's energy demands that we examine the difference between what is real and what we've imagined as real, simply because it fits the story we want to live in. It is comfortable to be the victim, because then we are not accountable. It is easier to say, I was cursed, than it is to admit, I did not listen. But the universe, like a great mirror, reflects back not our intentions, but our true vibration. When we radiate honesty, effort, and faith, our path changes. When we radiate excuses, blame, and fear, we walk in circles. Let us reflect. How many times have we asked La Santa Muerte for something, a job, a lover, a healing, but then did nothing to prepare for it? How often have we prayed to God for peace while keeping ourselves in the chaos of gossip, negativity, or procrastination? How many of our problems this week are actually self-inflicted through thoughts we refuse to challenge? In Hinduism, this is called Maya, illusion, the veil that makes us believe what is not truly real. In Buddhism, suffering is created by attachment to stories, identities, and even our pain. In Jewish Kabbalah, the ego is seen as a false self, always seeking to control or complain. In Islam, surrender to Allah is not weakness. It is the liberation from the lies of the ego. In the sacred traditions of the Mexica and Purépecha people, we are taught that each action echoes through the cosmos, that what we project into the world returns tenfold. All these paths point us back to this moment, right here, the moment of conscious choice. Santa Muerte does not pity liars, not because she is cruel, but because she is truth. She is the final gate, the keeper of endings, and she does not tolerate illusions. She does not ask for perfection. She asks for honesty. She asks us to take responsibility for what we are building, destroying, and feeding in our lives. And here is where willpower returns, not as punishment, but as salvation. Willpower is the sacred force that says, I will not let this version of myself live another day. Willpower is when you hear your own excuses and choose to act anyway. Willpower is when you say, this pain may not be my fault, but my healing is my responsibility. Let us turn inward for a moment. Let us speak to ourselves. Prayer of clarity and will. Divine Creator, show me what I need to see. Take the veil off my eyes. Remove the lies I used to feel safe. Expose the places where I have made myself small. Reveal the places where I play the victim out of fear. Give me the will to change. Let me speak truth into my life. Let me build, not destroy. Let me take one step, even if it's trembling. Let my will align with your will. Let me remember, you are not punishing me. You are pushing me. You want me to rise. Santa Muerte, Mother of endings and beginnings, if I have abandoned my promise to you, forgive me. If I have prayed and done nothing, awaken me. If I have turned from your guidance, draw me close again. Not with judgment, but with your sacred discipline. Teach me to honor the gifts you've already given me. Teach me not to beg, but to walk in faith. Teach me that devotion is not only in words, but in how I live, how I speak, how I persevere. This week, we stop feeding illusions. We stop living in invented suffering. We begin a new chapter, one where we no longer see ourselves as helpless, but as holy. May the spirits of our ancestors whisper wisdom into our hearts. May the Creator flood our minds with light. May La Santa Muerte walk beside us, reminding us with every step, the only way out is through, and you were born to rise. Let us continue the sacred Mass with our hearts more open and our spirits more willing. Let us move to our next lesson. The power of manifestation through devotion, alignment, and sacred responsibility. Let us now delve deeper into this Mass, into a sacred exploration of manifestation, not the superficial idea so often sold to us as instant success, but the true, ancient, and divine process of co-creation with God, La Santa Muerte, and the universe. Manifestation is not simply asking, it is alignment. It is not demanding, it is becoming. It is not escaping pain, it is transforming pain into purpose. This is a teaching that crosses the boundaries of every spiritual tradition, for the power to create is planted in each of us by the one who created all things. The book of Genesis says, we were made in God's image, not just in body, but in ability, to imagine, to build, to name, to create. In the Quran, Allah tells us that He breathed into us of His Spirit, making us His stewards on earth. In Hinduism, the concept of Atman teaches that each soul carries a spark of Brahman, the universal divine force. In Buddhism, we are told that with our thoughts, we make the world. In the wisdom of the Mexica, Purépecha, and other indigenous paths, we are co-creators with nature and the cosmos, and our prayers, dances, offerings, and intentions shape the seasons, the harvest, and the future. La Santa Muerte is part of this creative web. She is not only a being of endings, she is the space from which all rebirth emerges. So then we ask, why do our manifestations fail? The answer is difficult but loving, because we often want what we are not ready to carry, because we manifest from fear, not from faith, because we speak blessings with our mouth, but speak curses with our thoughts. We say, God bless me, but we think I'll probably fail anyway. We say, Santa Muerte, bring me love, but we refuse to heal the wounds in us that keep pushing love away. True manifestation demands integrity. It demands that our words, our thoughts, our actions, and our energy all move in the same direction. It is not enough to light a candle if we still walk in self-doubt. It is not enough to pray for abundance if we continue to speak poverty into our own lives with phrases like, I'm always broke, or nothing ever works for me. It is not enough to ask for health and then treat our bodies like they do not matter. Manifestation is the sacred agreement that once we ask, we act. So today, we align. Today, we return to our power. Today, we stop begging and start building. Let us declare prayers of sacred manifestation. Divine Creator, I no longer ask as if I'm unworthy. You have already said I am your child. You have already breathed life into me. You have already sent your messengers, seen and unseen, to guide me so I do not beg. I receive. I do not whine. I walk in faith. I do not doubt. I declare. I am a vessel of your will. I am a co-creator of my life. Let my heart align with what I ask for. Let my hands build what my spirit desires. Let my words match my vision. Let my actions honor your name. I do not just want. I am ready. Santa Muerte, Holy Mother of the Veil, you who stand at the edge of all creation and destruction, guide us to manifest with humility, not ego. Remind us that when we ask for love, we must first be love. We must first be love. When we ask for opportunity, we must prepare. When we ask for peace, we must be willing to have the chaos. Do not grant us what we cannot handle. Grant us the strength to become what we must become to receive it. And to our ancestors, those who crossed deserts, suffered persecution, endured famine and loss, remind us that the power we seek is already in our blood. We are not weak. We are the result of prayers already answered. We are the continuation of ancient dreams. We are walking altars, living prayers. Let us hold a moment of silence here. Breathe in the energy of divine alignment. Let every inhale be trust and every exhale be surrender. Now, know this. Your dreams are not fantasies. Your visions are not delusions. They are sacred instructions planted by God to be brought into form with your hands. We do not wait to be worthy. We are worthy. We do not wait for permission. We have already been chosen. And with that divine remembrance, we move forward into the rest of this Mass. Ready, willing, and aligned. Let us move into the next teaching. Fact versus fiction. Freeing the mind from false narratives. Honoring truth and will. Let us now step into the sacred fire of truth, a place where illusion dissolves, where self-deception burns away, and only the raw clarity of divine truth remains. The lesson for this segment is simple, but powerful. Not every pain is real. Not every story we tell ourselves is truth. And not every battle we think we're fighting even exists. This week, we are invited to examine the difference between fact and fiction. Between what is true and what we have created in our own minds as a form of protection, manipulation, or habit. This is not a lesson of shame, but an awakening. For if we walk blindly through a story of suffering that we wrote ourselves, then we are not only ignoring God's truth, but we are ignoring the freedom Santa Muerte offers us through clarity, humility, and courage. In the Torah, we are reminded that truth is a covenant with God. In the Quran, falsehood is described as something that perishes, while truth endures. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna to see with the eyes of wisdom, not the lens of ego. Native American traditions teach us that stories are medicine, but that some stories are poisons if we keep telling the wrong ones. And La Santa Muerte, the sacred mother of endings, teaches that death is not the end of illusion. Is death, lies cannot hide. In her shadows, truth is the only thing that stands. Many of us have lived as martyrs of our own imagination. We say we are always mistreated. We say we are cursed. We say the world is against us. But in fact, or is it a fiction? Is it a fact or a fiction? We've told ourselves so long that we no longer recognize the truth. Some of us cling to suffering because it is familiar. Some dramatize their wounds so others may validate them. Some choose to see every relationship, job, or challenge as an enemy so that we can excuse ourselves from growth. But when we do this, we dishonor the sacred trust between us and the divine. We spit upon the gifts we've been given. We delay our own blessings. We deny our role as creators of our own experience. Let us now reflect with love. What narratives am I repeating that are no longer true? What pain am I amplifying to avoid accountability or change? What fears am I disguising as facts? Santa Muerte sees through the illusion. She asks us not to shame ourselves, but to free ourselves. Prayers for discernment and release of false narratives. Beloved God, giver of light and truth, illuminate the stories within me that are not mine to carry. Help me see what is real and what I've created to protect my ego. Break the chains of false martyrdom, victimhood, and deception. Replace my false narratives with divine understanding. Let me walk in honesty with myself, with others, and with you. Santa Muerte, holy guardian of truth, you who see past masks and illusions, strip away from me the false stories that no longer serve my growth. Let me no longer exaggerate my pain. Let me no longer create obstacles in my own path. Let my story be sacred, not dramatic. Let my wounds become wisdom, not weapons. Let my past become a bridge, not a prison. Ancestors of truth, spirits of clear sight, walk with me. Show me where I have lied to myself. Show me the doors I pretend are locked, though they are wide open. Guide me to truth, not comfort, but truth. We are not here to pretend we are powerless. We are not here to bathe in false wounds. We are here to live, to rise, to lead, to transform. In this moment, we reclaim our clarity. We see ourselves as we are, not as our ego wishes to be seen. And from that clear vision, we choose growth. Now, this is the sacred clarity. We ready ourselves for the next part of this Mass, where faith turns into action and energy is transformed into community and support. Let us move into the next chapter of this week's Mass. Manifestation through willpower, walking the path of divine intention. We now enter the space where desires meet divine will, where our dreams are not only whispered into the universe, but actively shaped through willpower, clarity, and unwavering belief. This is the segment where we affirm one sacred truth. Manifestation is not magic. It is the disciplined alignment of thought, word, emotion, and action with divine energy. It begins with vision. It survives through faith, and it arrives through work. Santa Muerte, our beloved mother of endings and rebirth, remind us that everything we wish for must be earned, not through desperation, but through devotion, persistence, and patience. Too often, people come to her in a storm, asking for rescue. But when the sky's clear, they forget her. They forget the promises they made in tears. They forget the offerings. They forget the energy that was lifted up to protect them. In doing so, they don't just forget Santa Muerte, they forget God, whose divine order she is part of. Let us correct this today. Let us reignite our willpower, not as control, but as co-creation. In this ancient Hindu scripture, we are taught that Dharma, right action, is the gateway to material and spiritual success. In Islam, sincere intention, niyya, is what gives weight to action. In Christianity, faith without works is dead. The Pura Pecha and Mexica believed that a warrior's heart, strong, pure, and committed, was the engine of destiny. Manifestation requires sacrifice, not of suffering, but of laziness, of distraction, of fear. It demands that we hold ourselves to our own promises, the way we expect God or Santa Muerte to hold to theirs. If we say we want love, we must cultivate kindness. If we ask for abundance, we must steward what we already have. If we seek protection, we must live with courage. If we beg for healing, we must release the habits that keep us sick. Let this be the moment you remember. You are the vessel of God's will. You are the child of death, but not of decay. You are meant to grow. Prayer for manifestation of willpower. Beloved God, creator of all that is, I ask not for ease, but for strength. I ask not for shortcuts, but for the patience to walk my path. Let my desires be righteous. Let my actions be pure. Let my dreams be in alignment with your will. Santa Muerte, my sacred mother of the veil, I call on your wisdom to guide my intentions. Help me remember the power of commitment. Help me stay loyal, not just to you, but my own word. May every petition I make come from truth, and may I offer gratitude before I ask again. May I never come to you with empty promises. May I show you the strength of my spirit through action, through offering, through trust. I know that manifestation is not simply asking. It is trusting. It is moving. It is rising when I fall. So I rise now. I rise with sacred fire in my spirit. I rise with clarity in my vision. I rise with honor in my word. May all who gather here today remember what you do after the prayer is what manifests the prayer. And now, as part of our spiritual duty and collective willpower, let us take a moment to reflect on the sacred exchange that sustains this Mass and the work that supports our entire community. If this gathering has brought light into your heart, if the words, the prayers, the blessings have guided you, then we invite you humbly and with full transparency to support this sacred work with your donations and energy. Your offerings allow this Mass to continue. They support the space I hold. They fuel the mission of spiritual elevation for all. Whether you can give much or little, know that every gift given from the heart is a seed. If you are called to give, if you are unable to give, prayers for those who carry this work forward are well received. We are one family, one altar, united under God, protected by Santa Muerte, held by the ancestors, guided by purpose. Now, strengthened by the fire of manifestation and the virtue of willpower, we continue onward toward deeper wisdom and sacred transformation. Let's move forward in the week's teachings, right? Truth, illusion, and the power of perception. Clearing the fog of false narratives. Let us now step into a sacred space of clarity, a space where we pull back the veil not only of death, but of delusion. In this world, many of us and our struggles are not only born from external hardships, but from the stories we create within. We are at times the authors of our own suffering, not because we want to suffer, but because suffering becomes familiar. It becomes identity. It becomes habit. There are two kinds of challenges we face: factual struggles, poverty, illness, grief, loss, oppression. And then there are fictional struggles, misunderstandings we inflate, assumptions we treat as truths, and pain we play because it is easier than healing. In the teachings of the Buddha, illusions, Maya, is the greatest enemy of peace. We are told to awaken to the present moment, to see clearly, to release attachment to stories that keep us in chains. In Judaism, the Yetzer Hara, the inclination to distort truth and feed ego, is something we must continually overcome through spiritual discipline and honest reflection. In Islam, it is said that the whispers of the shaitan aim to confuse and pull us into chaos, creating realities that are not God's, but our own mental prisons. La Santa Muerte, in her divine role as the remover of masks, stand beside us to help us to see what is real. Death strips away illusion. She holds up a mirror, not to punish us, but to liberate us. Her presence says, "You say you are cursed, but you have chosen to live in complaint. You say no one loves you, but you have closed your heart out of fear. You say life is unfair, but you resist the change that will bring balance. How much of what we carry is truly real? How much of it have we invented to justify our comfort in suffering? How often do we wear martyrdom like a badge because we don't know how to wear joy? Let us not become addicted to hardship. Let us not reject peace because we are afraid to live without chaos. Many of us unconsciously create problems because the absence of problems feel unfamiliar. But today, Santa Muerte calls us to break that cycle. Let us rewrite our inner script. Let us reclaim our truth. prayer for discernment and release of false narratives. O God of eternal light, shine truth into the corners of our hearts. Break the illusions we've made into our reality. Help us separate pain from the projection. Help us face what is real and release what is false. Santa Muerte, my mirror of truth, take from me the lies I've told myself. Take from me the wounds I keep opening. Take from me the fear that clings to old stories. May I live in clarity. May I live in honesty. May I not blame the world for wounds I refuse to heal. Help me see with spiritual eyes. Let my truth not be tinted by ego, but colored by grace. We remember that to manifest the future, we must be honest about the present. And to be honest about the present, we must stop dragging the past behind us like a ghost. We must ask, am I speaking truth or am I rehearsing pain? Am I living in reality or am I addicted to chaos? From this day forward, let us be bold enough to change the narrative. Let us tell better stories, stories of resilience, of healing, of transformation. Santa Muerte stands by us not to keep us trapped in pain, but to help us transcend it. God opens a door, but we must walk through. We are not here to relive trauma. We are here to rise above it. Let us do so now. Let us live in truth. Let us rise in clarity. Let us become vessels of sacred reality, not illusion, not fear, but divine perception. The kind that leads to peace, freedom, and transformation. Now we move forward in deeper awareness, prepared for the next layer of divine instruction. Let us move forward with today's message: willpower, spiritual endurance, and the sacred fire within. As we continue this sacred journey, we arrive now at the spiritual heart of transformation. Willpower. Willpower is not simply about resisting temptation or staying focused. It is the sacred fire placed in our souls by God. It is the divine ability to rise, to endure, to manifest, and to overcome even when everything in the world tells us we cannot. In many sacred traditions, willpower is seen as spiritual muscle. In Hindu philosophy, this is linked to the Agni, or inner fire, which when awakened allows the individual to burn through karma and illusion. In Islam, the will to surrender fully to Allah is the essence of spiritual strength. In Christianity, Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, not for escape, but for the strength to carry out God's will. In Mexican Purépecha traditions, warriors were not just those who fought in the physical world, but those who remained steadfast in the face of emotional, spiritual, and cosmic trials. Santa Muerte, as a patroness of transformation and transition, does not hand us peace. She leads us through the valley of shadows so we may discover our strength. She tests us not to break us, but to forge us like the fire that purifies gold. Our challenges reveal our sacred purpose when we meet them with courage. Too many people believe that faith alone will change everything. But faith without will is like a candle without a flame. It doesn't burn. It does not illuminate. It does not guide. Faith is the spark. Willpower is the oxygen. Together they create the unstoppable force of manifestation. Let us remember, we cannot ask for peace and still feed our inner wars. We cannot pray for love and continue to push it away. We cannot cry for change and refuse to act. It is willpower that allows us to wake up in despair and choose hope anyway. It is willpower that helps us resist the temptations to numb, to hide, to give up. It is willpower that makes us continue to believe in miracles even after countless defeats. Santa Muerte whispers to us in our darkest nights, you are stronger than you think. Rise again. And when we say we are tired, she says, then rest, but do not quit. When we say we are broken, she says, the cracks are where the light get in. When we say we are lost, God says, you are only lost when you stop walking. So today, we activate our sacred will. We do not deny our pain, but we refuse to be enslaved by it. We do not dismiss our trauma, but we will not let it become our excuse. We do not wait for someone else to save us. We walk forward hand in hand with the divine. Did you guys feel chills? Prayer to ignite willpower and manifestation. Prayer, here we go. Almighty God, source of strength and endless compassion. Breathe life into the flame within us. Make our hearts steadfast, our spirits strong, our minds sharp with clarity and faith. Santa Muerte, beloved mother, our transition, remind us that we are born to rise, that our blood remembers resilience, that our ancestors survived storms so we could shine. Let our will be firm. Let our word be sacred. Let our walk be steady, even when the road is steep. We ask you, Santa Muerte, to burn away laziness, apathy, and fear. Grant us the strength to endure, the wisdom to act, and the power to manifest. May our actions be aligned with divine timing, and may we never surrender our calling to doubt or delay. This week and beyond, we commit to becoming vessels of focus, intention. We move with purpose. We speak with power. We manifest with grace and humility. And we walk knowing that God walks with us. And Santa Muerte clears the way. Let us carry this flame into our lives, into our choices, our rituals, our relationships. Let us burn away falsehoods and illuminate the truth. Let our lives reflect the strength we've inherited and the divine will that guides our every step. We now arrive at the final moment of the sacred gathering. Our hearts have been stirred, our spirits strengthened, and the wisdom of God and Santa Muerte has poured into us like living water. We have walked through the truth of willpower, manifestation, and the delicate but powerful difference between fiction and fact. We have remembered that many of our battles are not real, but imagined, that some of our deepest wounds are illusions we have nurtured, and that some of our greatest obstacles can be dissolved with truth, action, and faith. Santa Muerte teaches us that to see beyond the illusion, to cut away the lies we tell ourselves, and to walk in truth even when truth is uncomfortable. God reminds us that we are never alone, and He walks beside us even when we stray. It is this dual embrace, one of fierce honesty and divine love, that bridges us closer to peace, fulfillment, and the true spiritual path. Prayer for guidance, protection, and manifestation. O divine God, you who are known by many names in every corner of my earth, Allah, Yahweh, Tankashila, Shiva, Omatitiol, creator of all, you who are one, eternal, and supreme, we bow before you in gratitude and humility. Thank you for giving us breath this day. Thank you for the lessons, even the painful ones, for we now understand they were never punishments, but opportunities to rise. Holy Santa Muerte, Our Lady of Peace and Justice, our guide through the veil of shadows. Thank you for walking with us when others abandon us. Thank you for receiving our petitions, our pain, our offerings. We ask you to surround us with your cloak of protection. Cut away all falsehood from our lives. Remove the illusions that we are alone. Help us to see clearly, act boldly, and love truthfully. May our minds be clear. May our spirits be strong. May our hearts be kind. And may our path align with divine will. Always, we pray now for all those who are in need. For those who are sick in body, may they be healed. For those who are sick in spirit, may they find peace. For those who are broken in heart, may they feel loved. For those in financial struggles, may opportunities and abundance appear. For those in despair, may hope rise again like the morning sun. For those who have crossed over, may their souls rest in divine light. And for those forgotten by this world, may they be remembered and honored. May this blessing reach across time and space and touch all who need it. We ask God to place a shield around us against envy, against harm, against evil. We ask Santa Muerte to be our guardian as we sleep, as we work, as we love, as we rise. We ask that no curse take root, that no spiritual poison touch our doors, and no lies steal our power. May our homes be sanctuaries. May our thoughts be holy. May our work bear fruit. And may we remember that we are never walking alone. The weekly closing ritual. As we close this Mass, let us end it with practice that binds us together as one spiritual family. A ritual that reminds us of the power we carry within us. I invite each of you, wherever you are, to take a deep breath, close your eyes if you wish, feel the energy of the sacred gathering still lingering within you. Know that you are not alone. Place your right hand over your heart. Feel the rhythm of your own existence. Feel the connection between you and all who have gathered in spirit. Now repeat these words with conviction. I walk in faith. I walk in protection. I walk in divine purpose. My path is blessed. My struggles will pass. I am guided. I am loved. I am never alone. May la Santa Muerte and God Almighty be with me now and always. As we say these words, we affirm the truth that we are protected, that we are seen, that we are deeply loved. Let this be our weekly ritual, a practice we carry forward after every Mass, uniting us across time and space. A ritual of unity, faith, and spiritual resilience. And so, with gratitude in our hearts, we close this sacred gathering. We go forth renewed, strengthened, and blessed with the fire of willpower within us, with clarity about truth and illusion, with protection over our path, and with love flowing through every step we take. Go in peace, walk in power, live in truth. Until we meet again, this Mass has officially ended.